Welcome back to another episode of Is It Zeros or Is It Circles? On this episode, we're going to continue working on the Ford 9000 here. Some things I should show you though. I got a $15 camera stand to hold a $1,000. Whoa! Anyways, got a $15 camera stand here to hold a $1,000 camera. We'll see how long it lasts, but it's aluminum and light so I can swing it around like no tomorrow. Another thing I'll point out here, if I get behind the camera, Jesus decided to try to stop me today, putting his cross in the way of my semi-truck, but I'm going to continue working anyways. That's just a side project going on here in the shop. One little hint I'm going to do for a future video, I won't tell you too much, but built a custom vacuum chamber here. It's holding some vacuums I stole off the semi-truck air filter, and a sneak peek of what's happening in the future. Won't get into too much detail, but there's that right there. So, let's get our day started. Kind of bummed out because I want to finish the door panels for you guys, but I'm still waiting on mirrors. I ordered them. I got some truck light mirrors coming in. Basically, last episode, I don't know if I said this in a video or not, but I sandblasted the mirrors, and they got warped to garbage, so it's just easier for me to get new mirrors, and then I have new heated elements, so I know in the winter time my mirrors won't freeze up. So I'm waiting for those because I have to run the wiring before I can put the panels fully on and get the windows all working. So that's that. So I don't know what I'm going to do today. I might do some hooking up, and I might wire that in there. Yeah, right here's the old mirror. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but the previous mechanic that worked on this truck decided to run his glove over some dirt on the mirror, so they're scratched too. So it's just easier to replace them, and the heating elements are peeling up. I was going to tape it down, but it's just easier for me to get a new mirror. So yeah. So first plan of attack today, take you in by the pedals here. Right in there. Kind of, you see that little quick connect? Oh. Right there. We're using the new $15 piece of garbage. That little quick connect is what we're connecting to. If I bring it back out, this is the air horn line that I hooked up. I just have a test on here so I'm not over pressuring the horns, which I don't think is an issue. So we're just going to take that line, use the special cutter tool to cut a clean cut, and we're going to run the line into that quick connect down there. So watch me do nothing, I guess. We'll start over here as I hit my head on everything in life, but that's fine. So we go behind everything here. Oh, I already messed up. Under this wire, over this wire, like that. Like that. So that's in there. This line just goes up the pillar. I reran the air lines with new fresh ones for the air horns. So we'll go back over here again. So we're up back there. And then we have to get in there. In there. Focus. Oh yeah. There we go. So we'll run this like that. And I think we only need this much. We only have one shot at this too, so take the cutter, put the wire thing in here. A very bad example. So that goes on like that. I wish autofocus would not hit the gear shift, but clip, and then you have a clean cut. Look at that. run that into the hole. I should have did this sooner because technically you could have dust contamination. It's probably not the worst thing in the world right now, but it's always a theory. So this goes in behind there. Again, we're going to try locking the focus. It's kind of a really hard place to get into without blocking everything off. Yeah. So imagine me just stick that red hose into the blue line there. Like that. Everything is out of the way. Make sure the hose doesn't chafe on anything that I don't want. There. Air horn's hooked up. I don't know if I've shown off the dash yet, but I still have to paint the outside bit, but I ended up replacing all the gauges in it. So yeah, here's the dash. Get a better angle here. So what I had to do is I actually broke one of these old gauges. Just taking it out, it was just old plastic. Instead of replacing this whole panel, since it's kind of custom made, I found that the new gauges fit in here. So I spent $1 billion getting all new custom gauges. And it's all basically the same. And then I got new custom lights made for each thing. So we'll turn this around here. It's kind of a rat's nest right now. I'm going to clean it up. And like I said, I'm going to get this outer ring painted black just like the rest of the dash. And we'll have our black and silver. So yeah, new gauges are in. I have electronic. The truck used to have mechanical like cables for the RPM and speedometer. I've converted over to electronic. This is Stewart Warner gauges. And then I got a sender that sends a mechanical signal through electronic wire to these gauges, so they'll work. So I don't have to run new cables, I just have to run wires to the senders. Yeah, everything's all cleaned up. I have, like I said, I have new warning lights, I have new gauges. One thing I still have to wire is there's the main plug, and then there's a secondary plug for the actual like senders that go everywhere. I still have to wire those into the gauges. So the lights work, lights work and all the warning lights work. I just have to do the senders. And yeah, to install on this side here is the heater. I'm putting new heaters in because I'm removing the vacuum heaters. I'm not chasing vacuum lines all day to figure out how to get them to work. And plus they're filled with rat poop and, not rat poop, mouse poop, because it's lived on a farm for a long time. So I have a new heater from Vintage Air that I'm sticking in here. Should work all right. I'm starting with one heater. This truck came with 3 heaters. So later in life, if the one heater doesn't work to defrost my windows, etc., I'm going to get another heater that will just plug right in for Vintage Air and put it on the other side. So I think I'm mostly prepared. I got some oversized rockets and a wiring diagram that I took 100 years ago that goes to this guy here, I think. Yeah. So I guess the plug that I was thinking of, this plug, is already wired. That's this plug right here. So the only plug I have to do is this one, which I have to do live. It's a 6-point plug in the old case. So I have to see where everything goes and then wire it up to the new plugs I got right here. I got these guys. Not appropriate for the application, but they'll work perfectly for what I'm doing. So here's what I'm working with. To draw out the plug, basically. And then figure out what each wire does. So My leg is actually in the way here. Let's move some stuff around. Okay, so we have our marker. Try to find a good position for the light where it's not in my eyes. Right there. That'll work. Put that down for you guys. So, looking at this diagram, we have to go through, figure out what each thing does. Luckily Ford actually written it right into the thing, so shouldn't be too biggie. That goes right there, this will go right there. So, top left goes up to engine oil temp, and that's ignition. Right. So what I'm looking at here is the back where top left goes to ignition from this thing here. So top left is ignition. It goes this way. And it hits water temp. So water temp is nowhere to be found in here, but I think it's ignition too. Fuel, it goes up to the top right there, which is also ignition. So on our diagram, top left is basically power, ignition power. So we'll put ignition. So we have this diagram. We're going to convert that mess over to these kind of plugs. So these guys just click in here. That one's actually too big. Better example here. Clicks in. Snappy snap. There we go. So I have a 6 and a 5 plug. I need to add 2 more senders for the speedometer and RPM gauge. So all the lights are wired in. I am missing one light, but that's a future issue. Even these lights, well, these lights aren't wired in though, but I think I did leave room for them. So yeah, I left one right there that I can plug in. Welcome back. So try to get you all in frame here. So we're gonna hook the positives to these 2 gauges up first. So we'll kind of step them back a bit more. We have some automatic strippers. We go ka-chow. Look at that. So put these together. And this goes into dash positive, which are all female, so we'll stick a male on this end here. And that should reach. So we got a male right here, so this should be able to go in here. Goes into negative on there. This goes into here, like that. All of these hook up like they are. And then that's grounded for everything. So I'm going to use a heat gun and get these all heated up so they're good to go. Remember, I'm in a closed space. It's always good to keep every window closed while using any kind of gas. Okay, we're going to go through it now and install each piece. Rat's nest is done. This is all the warning lights and the dash lights. They're all together now. Now I just need to actually hook up the actual gauges. So after looking at the old diagram, there's actually 3 sending things. I need to add 2 for the speedometer and RPM. So I have one that's 5 here. So 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for these 2. And then I'm going to use a 3-prong one, and that's going to be for the positive and ground of the whole thing. So I'm going to wire these guys up as the sending units, and these 3 will be positive and ground. So I want to have these guys be on this side. So these things actually have mini numbers on them. Where are they here? They're right there. I doubt you can see them in the camera, but it goes from left to right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to mark on here of what those are going to correspond to later on. So we'll do, what's the order in here? We'll just do the order of this from left to right. So we have oil temp. Wait, do we have oil temp? We have oil temp and then oil pressure. Okay, oil temp will be 1. Oil pressure doesn't have one since it's a manual gauge. So oil temp is 1. And then next we have battery, which is nothing. Coolant water sender will be 2. Fuel sender will be 3. Air pressure, PSI. So that's it for the normal ones. So 4 will be RPM. And 5 will be speedometer. Okay. Guess what? I'm done. Issue was my camera actually died on me, so here we are. It's pretty tedious work anyways. I'll show you what I've done. It's sort of a rat's nest, but I tried making it as clean as possible here. I still have to hook up this wire and this last light, but I have it all strung. We have our default warning lights here, and then we have our senders on one plug, and then we have power and ground for the gauges on the other plug here, all strung into this. So that's all good to go. This is basically done. I just need to do the last 2 lights when I get the last light in here. And you come over here. We got ourselves. I took out the old plug. So the old plug looked like this. I've taken it out and I put in our 3 senders. I still have the 2 others for the speedometer and RPM gauge that I have to run still down to the engine. And then we have our power. So everything's plugged. Oh, this is also for the senders for the speedometers. So those are there. And yeah, so that's all ran and plugged. I can plug in and use it, but that's it for today. So to reinstate what I just said inside the cab, might have been gibberish. I did a lot of hum-de-la-de-las. I have rewired the dash, well, to the new gauges, and then wired up the plugs so that it's all good there. And then once that ring around the dash, like I said, was all painted up, I can stick the dash in, and I'll run the wires for the senders to the engine. One goes right there on the compressor where that blue thing is, and the other one goes at the back of the transmission. And then I'll have RPMs and I'll have speed using the electronic system instead of the cables, because my issue with the cables, I'll go quickly here, is that's one cable there and that's the other one right there. Those two, from all the years of just wet feet and stuff inside the cab, they actually rusted into the floor, and when I tried taking them out, they just broke. So that's why I'm switching over to electronic instead of running new cables. It's easier that way. Wires are a lot easier to navigate than running a big cable system and getting the lengths right, etc. So that's it today. If you like this video, I know I missed a week there, but I needed to actually get some stuff done. Not really, I procrastinated because I was mostly waiting on parts and I didn't want to do the wiring, but I did it. That part's done now. I just have to do the painting. So I have some plastic parts I need to paint up. So I'll do all those together. Maybe next week I'll do that. But yeah, today is good. If you enjoyed this video, thank you. And I hope you have a good day, night, or whatever you want. See ya.